we, the present generation, have the responsibility to act as a trustee of the rich natural wealth for the future generations. The issue is not merely about climate change. It is about climate justice. Again, I repeat, it's not the issue about the climate change. It's about climate justice. In my view, the most adversely affected by climate change are the poor and the downtrodden. When a natural disaster strikes, they are hit the hardest. When there are floods, they are rendered homeless. During droughts, they are affected, and during extreme cold, the homeless suffers the most. We can't let climate change keep affecting people in this manner, which is why I believe that this course must shift focus from climate change to climate justice.
Climate justice. In our country, India, climate change and development are intertwined where the livelihoods of 700 million people depend on the climate and 300 million people lack regular access to electricity. There has been a large-scale economic growth of 8 to 9% in the past, and the growth is projected to continue for the next 20 years or more. But it can only be sustained if we can provide energy fourfold times of what we are producing today. So climate justice can prove to be the most challenging task for India, as we have to provide energy while maintaining balance in the environment and mitigating any possibilities of climate change.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, पूरा विश्व जलवायु परिवर्तन से चिंतित है। क्लाइमेट चेंज, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, डगर डगर पर उसकी चर्चा भी है, चिंता भी है, और हर काम को अब करने से पहले एक मानक के रूप में इसको स्वीकृति मिलती जा रही है। पृथ्वी का तापमान अब बढ़ना नहीं चाहिए। ये हर किसी की जिम्मेवारी भी है, चिंता भी है। और तापमान से बचने का एक सबसे पहला रास्ता है ऊर्जा की बचत, एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन।
Yes, while we seek a long-term solution for our growing energy demands, it is also vital to adjust to climate change, to limit emissions, to conserve energy, using all available tools and best behaviors currently at our disposal. And one such area is the energy consumption in India's buildings.
India is currently going through rapid urbanization. This would translate into more number of buildings and larger infrastructure coming into existence. Buildings already account for almost 30% of the India's electricity consumption. 2/3 of the buildings that would be existing by the year 2030 are yet to be built. India could potentially save $42 billion each year just by improving the energy efficiency level in the building sector.
And for improving energy efficiency in buildings, many researchers and the government have devoted themselves to craft a genuinely collective partnership that balances responsibilities and capabilities with aspirations and needs. And the result of their hard work is the ECBC, the Energy Conservation Building Code.
The Energy Conservation Building Code, launched by the Ministry of Power's Bureau of Energy Efficiency, has the potential to transform the way buildings are constructed and to unleash significant energy savings. Building more efficient buildings is also a central strategy to achieve India's climate target to reduce emissions intensity by 33 to 35% from 2005 levels by the year 2030 as part of the Paris Agreement.
Bolder efforts to incorporate low-emission technologies and gradually increase the use of renewable energy sources will help India make the transition to a low-carbon future. But to adapt to the effects of climate change now, the Energy Conservation Building Code has been scripted to limit emissions and reducing wasteful consumption that will have the maximum impact.
We at Administrative Staff College of India, Hyderabad are working in the area of energy conservation and energy efficiency to promote energy conservation in building. We have developed energy conservation building code policy framework, and our efforts supported Government of Andhra Pradesh and Government of Telangana to bring energy conservation building code as a mandatory compliance for the commercial buildings in the state. The energy conservation building code has been simplified so that all the stakeholders like real estate developers, architects, government officials can easily understand the code. The code applies to any commercial building or building complexes that has a plot area of 1000 square meters or more, or built-up area of 2000 square meters or more. Buildings of a certain type such as multiplexes, hospitals, hotels and convention centers must comply with the ECBC irrespective of their built-up area. The code offers a star rating system. However, a single star rating with prescriptive method or whole building performance method is the only mandatory thing for all commercial buildings in the state of Telangana.
On 28 Jan 2014, the Government of Andhra Pradesh has made Energy Conservation Building Code as a mandatory compliance in their building construction approval system by amending its existing bylaws GO 168 through GO MS30. After bifurcation, both the governments of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh continued Energy Conservation Building Code as a mandatory compliance in their large building construction approvals. The capital city of Hyderabad, where ECBC is mandatory for commercial buildings citywide, is now a role model for other cities across the country.
The city of Hyderabad is a hub for leading Indian and multinational companies, including IT-enabled services, software consulting, and business process outsourcing firms. As a capital of Telangana state, Hyderabad also has many government office buildings to cater administrative services. New building construction activity is expanding in and around Hyderabad city. The commercial office space in Hyderabad, which is already at 60 million square feet as of 2015, is projected to almost double by 2022. In addition to this one, about 5 million square feet of commercial mall space is expected to be operationalized by 2022. Since this rapid growth in buildings will exponentially increase energy demand, there is a window of opportunity now to construct energy efficient buildings that will lock energy savings for years to come, boost economic growth through greater energy access, and reduce pollution.
We can easily understand the Energy Conservation Building Code and its implementation process by looking into first, the designs of ECBC compliant buildings like the National Remote Sensing Center and T-Hub in Hyderabad. Second, the step-by-step strategy by Government of Telangana for effective implementation in Hyderabad. First, what does ECBC say?
ECBC has 5 main components, I would say, that basically describe how we can save energy in a building. So if you see in building, envelope is one aspect where we can improve the performance of envelope and save energy. Then lighting is another important component. We have heating, ventilation and air conditioning as the third component. Then comes hot water and electrical systems. So these are the 5 components on which requirements are given in ECBC, how to make each of them efficient. So if you look at the envelope, the major components in the envelope are wall, windows, roof and the floor. Now all these components have to be designed to attain maximum possible energy efficiency, because envelope is the opportunity for building to connect with outdoors and maximize the benefits that the nature provides. Like nature gives us daylight, so we should try to maximize the benefit and capture the daylight. We would like our buildings to have some insulation. How will the insulation help? Insulation will reduce the heat ingress from outdoors to indoors. So the prescriptive method gives us what should be the resistance that the wall should offer to the flow of heat. Similarly, we have glass. Glass will also conduct heat. What should be the minimum resistance that the glass should offer to the flow of heat? Same thing is applicable to the roof also. Now these are the conductive heat gains that we want to reduce. Now glass can also bring in the direct light and the direct solar radiation inside. There is a property of glass which is called solar heat gain coefficient. The value of solar heat gain coefficient is also given in the prescriptive requirement, that glass should not bring in more solar heat gain than this particular value. And that can be attained by orientation of the glass as well as shading of the glass. So by proper shading also, we can reduce how much heat the glass will bring in. Lighting is a very important component, as we all know. Even in the daytime, we tend to switch on all the lights, even when outdoors are pretty much lit and we have so much of sunlight available. So if we are able to get natural light from the envelope, very good, we can dim the interior lights and save on energy. But if we are not able to do, or building is being used in the night, then we have to depend on the artificial light. So how do we save energy on the artificial light? ECBC gives a very simple parameter, which is watts per meter square of connected lighting load. That means if I have an area of say 100 meters square and I have 100 watts of electrical lighting fitting in that area, that means 100 watts divided by 100 meters square, that will make it 1 watt per meter square. So like this we can calculate what is the connected load of lighting per meter square, and there is a cap given to that. There are two methods, one is at the building level, another is at a space level. So at a building level, suppose I am making an office. So in office, the maximum allowable connected lighting load is say 10 watts per meter square. That means you find out the total area of the building, multiply it by 10, and that should be the maximum lighting load connected in the building. If somebody doesn't want to take the whole building but want to take different spaces, then it is also possible. So you can say in the meeting room this is the allowable limit, in the open office this is the allowable limit, in the corridors this is the allowable limit. So for each space type, limits are provided. Generally the tropical areas will not need heating, we'll mostly be focusing on the air conditioning and the ventilation aspect. Now for attaining ventilation and air conditioning, we would need some kind of fans, some pumps, we might need some chillers for getting chilled water. So efficiency is given for all these components. So there are some mandatory requirements. Chiller should not have efficiency less than this. So different type of chillers, ECBC gives that this is the minimum efficiency that they should have. The major electrical components in building are transformers, motors, and the distribution system. So requirements are given that the transformer should have minimum this much efficiency, motors should have minimum this much efficiency, and the permitted losses in the electrical distribution system. So if there are buildings like hospitals which would have a requirement of hot water, then we can save a lot of energy in hot water by either utilizing the waste heat or by utilizing the solar hot water system. So some requirements are given in this section on how we can improve the efficiency of the boilers or how we can reduce our energy consumption by either using waste heat or by using the solar energy.
So now, a real estate developer can prepare designs in consultation for energy simulation and can get ECBC compliance and building construction approval by submitting the designs to TPA, who are empaneled by the government.
Energy simulation is basically a software exercise which is usually done during the design stage to be able to come up with the optimal solutions in terms of energy parameters for the building so that we achieve the best savings possible and also keeping in mind our financial constraints. So what we do in energy simulations is we create the model as per the architectural design and we input the entire ECBC parameters. So we basically generate the base case model with the ECBC parameters, and then we generate the design case model with the design parameters, which includes what we have actually designed in terms of glass, in terms of volume values, in terms of lighting, in terms of air conditioning, and so on. So this way we get two models, and then we can compare the energy conservation. So the estimated energy savings that would arise from an ECBC model in kilowatt hours vis-a-vis what is in terms of design. So we'll have a comparative study between the two, and we will know which is better than the ECBC. So in case our design case is much more than the base case, then we will try and iterate various solutions and see which is the best possible solution which is adding to our energy savings at the least cost possible.
The implementation of Energy Conservation Building Code is done in two different phases. The first one is during the planning and design stage. So whatever the services planned, that is with respect to the building envelope or electrical systems or HVAC, lighting and heating systems, all these things will be evaluated during the design phase by a third-party assessor. And if they are found to be in line with the requirements of Energy Conservation Building Code, the approval is accorded. The third-party assessor is going to verify the designs during the design stage whenever the planning and designing is done by the architects and developers. So they are supposed to check with respect to the various energy conservation options based on the Energy Conservation Building Code norms. And that will be again submitted to the municipal authorities. So as different third-party assessor will come into the picture after the post-construction. So what will happen is once the building is completely designed and completed, execution is done, then the second third-party assessor will come into picture and they will verify whether all the designs have been implemented as per the Energy Conservation Building Code and they make a certification accordingly. People need not be afraid that there will be huge work associated with this. A third-party assessor will check all the requirements, and only thing is a simplified submission form will be developed ultimately so that it is easy for most of the real estate developers to understand whatever the requirements.
The government of Telangana, with the support of key stakeholders, is moving ahead to pilot a multi-step process to implement the ECBC in the state. Led by a steering committee, the state has developed a three-pronged strategy for effective implementation of the code, including awareness and capacity building, integration with the building approval process, and technical and expert support.
GHMC has already taken steps to ensure the ECBC compliance. At Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation level, we are going with online building approval system for the ease of owners and builders and to fast-track building approval across the city.
To assist early building projects, Telangana government has also created an Energy Conservation Building Code technical cell which will provide technical support and expertise on specific aspects of the code and will develop resources such as frequently asked questions and other things. The real estate developer associations like CRIDAI and TRADA, they are also coming forward to help this technical cell to take it forward for effective implementation of Energy Conservation Building Code in the state.
To give an overview of the process from a real estate developer's perspective in 7 simple steps. First, preparing the designs in consultation with architect and MEP consultant. 2. Submitting the designs to third-party assessor and take ECBC compliance certificate. 3. Applying for building construction approval through online system. 4. Here the building committee, after verifying, gives you the approval. 5. Construction phase begins. Municipal corporation may conduct random inspections during construction. 6. After construction, developer submits the data, materials used, certificates, etc. to different third-party assessors for physical inspection. TPA issues building construction ECBC compliance verification certificate after inspection. 7. Finally, municipal corporation issues building occupancy certificate.
Telangana state lead the way with Hyderabad as a model of ECBC compliance in implementation of energy efficiency codes in buildings. ASCI as a knowledge partner of state of Telangana and Hyderabad continues to support the government's efforts to make buildings energy efficient, not just in theory but in reality.
Energy efficiency is a renewable resource in the sense if you deploy all of the efficiency that you thought was there, you'll find that it renews itself. So in other words, energy efficiency is often referred to as picking the low-hanging fruit. But the interesting thing we've learned in regions where they've tried to pick all that fruit is as soon as you pick it, it grows back.
Implement ECBC on the lines of Hyderabad model, save energy, bring in energy security for our cities, and make our cities smart and livable.
Energy Conservation Building Code, making India energy efficient.